go. And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to XTV. Really happy to have you here. I see we have quite a few people already here in the chat. Very nice to see you, Luan, Eduarda, Caio. A lot of people who have, I think, first timers. That's really good. So this is our second episode of XTV. And today we're getting into a topic that I think is going to be really useful for a lot of people here watching who might be thinking about joining X Team. If you're here, say hi in the chat. Yes, there you go. Hey, Kibung, Code Chronicles. Hello, guys. Very nice to have you here. So yeah, big day. The topic of this conversation today is thinking about applying to X Team. Start here. So if you're curious about X Team and if you've seen us around and wondered what it actually takes to join us, so then, well, you know, maybe you've seen even one of our open roles and thought, okay, this could be for me. Then this episode is exactly where you should be at right now. As I said, we're going to talk about what X Team is, how we work, what kinds of opportunities we offer, what we look for in candidates, and what people can do to give themselves the best possible chance when applying. So that's very useful information for you guys. The goal is to answer the kinds of questions people actually have when they're considering a company like X Team. Things like, what should I know before applying? How do I know if a role is a good match for me? What matters beyond technical skills? What do people usually get wrong? And how can I prepare without overthinking the whole thing, which is really important, right? Just to know what it is. And I want to give you guys here an official invite to write questions in the chat. We're reading it. So if you have any questions about anything, let us know and we'll answer. If we don't answer them during the episode, make sure to join our Discord, where we have a dedicated channel for questions, so you can just jump in and our recruiters will answer you as fast as possible. But first, let me bring in the people who are joining me today. So first, Caleb, who has been here for the longest time, 12 years, I believe. He's been a part of X Team for a long time.
Something like that, a long time.
Yeah. And yeah, you've seen this place from a lot of different angles over the years, so you'll help me here bring the inside perspective to this conversation, right? Nice to have you here, Caleb.
1000%. Yeah, happy to be here. Yeah, and you know, my background is as a software developer. I was working as a software developer before I joined X Team, and then got on the recruiting side of things. And I know that you, Mario, have also kind of been on that recruiting side. So I think today's discussion with our next special guest will be really good, because we'll be talking about all of those things that you said. You know, am I ready for X Team? What do I need to know? You know, that kind of thing. So I think we'll have a good discussion about that.
I think so too. And yes, we also have Dani with us, which I'm really excited about, because Dani is going to bring the recruitment perspective into all of this. Hey, Dani.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Dani.
It's great to be here, giving like a behind the scenes for everyone.
Yes, that's exactly it. We're rolling the curtains. People can take a peek behind the scenes and, you know, hot tips on how to join us even better, easier. So yeah, let's start at the beginning. So before we get into the application process, roles, CVs, interviews, any of that, I think we should first kind of set the stage a bit for those who don't know X Team. So for someone discovering us for the first time, what is X Team and why might developers around the world want to join us? Dani, I'll start with you on this one.
Okay, so I think the simplest way I can put is X Team connects like really talented people with meaningful long-term projects and opportunities. And we do work with amazing companies, just to name a few here: Riot Games, Coinbase, Fox. So our roles are remote. We paid in the currency USD, and we only have, you know, one project at a time. But what I think really, you know, actually makes people stay here is and what drew me really personally is that we really build everything around the people here, and the community. So you get matched to a great project, yes, but you also get plugged into like a real community. And we have global events, we have learning experiences, we have outposts around the world, really, exclusive gear, and really something pretty cool that I'm not sure if like people know this, but we have like a dedicated person we call here like a wizard, who genuinely like is here to support your entire journey at X Team. So the name is Wizard because they do some magic, along the way. And yeah, so I would say like really it's one of those places that it's kind of hard to fully explain on paper. You kind of have to feel the energy to get it. But I think today's a good start.
No,
Absolutely
great.
agree.
Absolutely. And Caleb, I know that there are quite a few people who have never worked fully remotely. Was this your
Yeah.
first remote work?
It was my first fully remote role. Yeah, yeah.
And
Yep.
what can you maybe share about the remote working experience? What is different about working remotely, completely remotely, not hybrid, like completely remotely, to maybe the more traditional setup? What have you experienced?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously, there's huge pros, right? The not having a commute. In my job
Yeah.
before X Team, I had to jump in the car, I had to drive 20 minutes to work in traffic, all of that. And so obviously, you don't have a lot of that. You're home for deliveries and things like that. Like, there's a lot of pros like that. However, you do have to have your own like discipline, and there's
Yep.
no right answer for one person, right? Like some people jump out of bed and they stay in their pajamas and get straight to work, and if that works for them, that's fine. I can't work like that. I have to jump up, I have to do the shower. I'm wearing cologne right now. Like I have to feel like I'm going to the office. But like you just have to figure out what's right for you. Like I don't think there's a universal right answer, but it might take you some time. Like it might be your first, remote role in a week or so into it. You might be like, this is weird, this is strange. You have to figure out what works for you, and ultimately, I think it's a pro, just a huge pro.
True. I completely agree with what you said, and Kibum is saying here, oh, that's Patrick pajama all day. Like
Pajama
I
day,
used to be
yeah.
that during the first years, and then I needed to create routines and things to make me feel like I'm changing, scenarios a little
Exactly.
bit. So that's very interesting about the work. There's challenges with remote working, but there's so many benefits to it that it's really a pleasure, at least for me. But it really depends on who you are and if that kind of structure fits, like if it's good for you, right? Alida, I think a lot of proactivity is needed, ownership, and well, something that goes along with it is the flexible working hours, right? That you need. Danny, how do you have you experienced like that? What does it mean for you to have flexible working hours?
Oh, for sure. For me, it's been like going to the gym in the morning, like early, and just sets the mood for me for the whole day. So like having that routine, for sure. And yeah, and something pretty cool is that our team, like everyone is in like a different side of the world. So I start my day here, and sometimes people are going to respond to my Slack messages a few hours later. But that's pretty cool to understand what works for everyone. And yeah, and here
Yeah,
like just
absolutely.
talking about like what remote means, in general, I would say we have X teamers in over 70 countries. If you think about it, that's so cool.
That is cool.
And then the projects here are like the usual, let's say 40 hours a week from Monday to Friday. And some partners, they do ask for like some overlap, so that you sometimes, for example, let's say Pacific time zone, right? Let's take California. So like 4, 5, or 6 hours or overlap. So it depends on the partner and the project. But you do have that real flexibility to design the schedule that works for your life. And something also like I think it's worth mentioning, like we don't use any like tracking software. We don't
Oh,
monitor your screen. We trust you to deliver. And I would just say like in return, you get the freedom to work in a way that really actually suits you. So that's awesome.
Great point. I almost forget about mentioning the non-tracking because it's not an issue. Like it's not something we do. So it completely flew over my head. You were mentioning that you're now like starting working out in the morning to set your day. I do the same, especially since I now have much more meetings with Australia, so they're late at night for me. So I start my day a little bit later. I just start like around 9 a.m. I do some work, then I go work out, and then I come back and work in the afternoon. So yeah, you can kind of style however it fits your needs and the overlap with the partners that we have. Talking about partners, so we have a bunch of big names that we work for. Then maybe you can give us a little glimpse into the clients, what type of work, if it's all the same, like how we work with them. Give us the sauce.
So yeah, always depends. I would say the role, the opportunity that you are either applying or that we are like reaching out to you to discuss. But I would say like overall the partners, they have high performing teams, and they come to X Team because they want senior talent that can integrate quickly and pretty much contribute to the project. So the work is very real, like the stakes are real, but I 100% know, because I talk to X Teamers all the time about this, but like the impact is really visible since the start of the project. And yeah, that's a feedback that I hear a lot too.
Yep.
And just to mention something, I'm sorry, I was going to mention something about the community. Yeah, because something that really I think surprises people, especially like on the interviews that we talk about, is about the events. And so, I mean, you have the flexibility to, travel, have an awesome experience. And we have, for example, the X Summit. And this is something that in the last few years, it's been in Brazil. So like shout out to our Brazilian friends. But we also have another very cool event, which is like the X Outpost. So the team just wrapped up one in Thailand. I heard it was like super cool. And I'm joining Amsterdam in a couple of weeks. So also like very excited about that one. But yeah, and like every day, I would say the day-to-day happens at Slack. So imagine like we have like 600 X Teamers, and we're like over there connecting, sharing, collaborating, and we do everything about the community at Slack. So I know that the clients, they also use it. So
yeah, no,
1,000%. Yeah, and that's what. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I already forgot what I was going to say.
No worries. I was just going to say it's good that you mentioned both the offline events, the outposts and things like that we do in person, as well as much as we do online. That Mario and I work on more so, because going back to that question you asked me about remote work, Mario, like you can easily at a lot of companies, you can find yourself in a silo. You can find yourself working in theory, you're at your desk working and doing everything, but you feel disconnected, you feel alone. And so that's a huge part of X Team, is that ability to connect coworkers and connect us not only digitally and online and all the events we do online, but opportunities throughout the year to hang out with X Teamers in person. It's a huge part of, I think, I don't think I could do remote work of 10, 11, 12 years if I was just here at my desk alone forever. X Team does a really good job at building community in person and digitally. Truly.
No, precisely, because those are the downsides, I guess, from remote working, right? That you're kind of sitting in your office alone, and you can feel lonely, and that's why we really invest a lot in creating culture, getting people together, connecting. That's why we offer the T-shirts, the travels, the games, the events, all of that, because it's important for us for people to feel part of the community. And also that they belong, they want to stay longer. So that's really important. We have some questions in the chat, and we're definitely gonna answer them. But at first, I wanted to show the topics that we have prepared for today, so that we there you go. So we have a few of these what candidates should know before applying, which is probably recommended with Anthony Filippi's question here. What is the most recommended path for joining X team, and what level of seniority typically required for your developers? I think that's a good question to start off this conversation. Like, what is the type of the level of seniority that we look for, and what is the best way to go about the application process? Danny, can you help us with that?
Of course, yes. So I would say the first thing is don't just scan for the tech stack once you go through our job board, and that's something pretty cool to share too. Like I would say like every single day we are like updating the job board at the website, and we have like our roles on LinkedIn too. But I would say the website is even better, to check those out. So I would say that the most common mistake is doing that. So like, for example, you see like a React or a Node role, and you think like that's me, and you apply without reading the rest of what's down there. So read the whole thing. The stack matters for sure, but so does like the seniority level. That tells you what kind of ownership will be expected to take, and the time zone overlapped as well tells you like what is the actual day, what it looks like. The client context can also tell you, for example, if it's like a fast moving autonomous setup or something more structured. So all the information is there, right? And you can think of a role description as kind of like a snapshot of a real team's like needs. So the tech stack is the language you'll be speaking, and the seniority is pretty much all about the level of like independence that they are expecting. So now we can talk a little bit more about like communication and like English skills, for example. So communication expectations are like pretty often, I would say, like the most underrated part, because if a role is saying like strong async communication, that's definitely something that it's telling you that the team runs very independently, and they need someone that can be fast in communication and be open to that as well. But I would say like the most piece of information that I can give here is like, if you match the role, the job description, but not everything, apply seriously. Because if you match, for example, the core requirements but a few nice to haves, you should definitely apply either way. Usually the hard requirements, they are non-negotiable, but you can absolutely try. That's the main thing here. And are you gonna say something?
Yeah, maybe we can check out a role, like an actual role that we have here, just so that people know how to maybe read it, what to take or make out of it, and then we can talk about like the individual requirements for each part of them. Let me just open up the jobs page right here. So for those who don't know, it's jobs.xteam.com. That's x/team.com. And I'm getting this. Here you go. Okay. And I think you should be able to see my screen in a few seconds. There you go. Oh, beautiful transition.
Nice transition.
Here you go.
Yes.
This is the page. And if you scroll down, you'll see then the roles coming up, right? So you have the senior platform engineer. It tells you what the main stacks are. I mean, Danny's the expert here, but you correct me if I'm wrong, Danny. And then the general, required set of skills or stack, right? Let's check out this first one maybe, and maybe you can comment on what to pay attention to, what it could mean, how to interpret these things.
Yeah, for sure. So I think something that really helps is we have been adding, for example, the main tech stack at the top, and also if there's any preferred locations, for example this one, LATAM and Europe, and that part, like fully remote, global work with top brands. This is like usual, I would say, like in all of the roles posted. But yeah, like definitely the title is the first thing that you see, right? And I think that's where a few people, they just click and apply, and because they see, oh, okay, I have experience with TypeScript, and Elixir, but definitely the context about the role and the requirements. It's very important. So
let me ask you about Latin Europe, for example. I see this and I'm like, and I maybe somewhere else, right? Is this because it needs people to be from there, or is it because of the overlap with time zone, which usually is better for Europe and Latin America?
yeah, usually like we really want to make sure that this is the right match for you and with your working hours too. So if you're currently based 12 hours apart from like the team and the partner, we know it's going to be super hard for you to join meetings and collaborate with the team. So that's also something that we want to make sure that it's a healthy choice for everyone. So yeah, that's also because of it. And also since a few partners, they ship the equipment in a laptop, if they have the warehouse specifically like somewhere, it's just easier and better to ship the equipment. So that's also one of the reasons.
Awesome. Let's check something out that you mentioned, the most important versus the nice to have. So how important are the most important and how nice to have are the nice to have, basically?
Okay, so I would say like the technical skills, they kind of like they get you in the door, right? So those are usually non-negotiable, as I mentioned, because the team expects you to start and you can contribute with those main skills, right? But the nice to haves are just like, if you have them, it is the perfect match, for example. But I mean, you can absolutely still grow in the role. But the most important is definitely what you need to definitely just take a look on. And if you see yourself like having this background, this experience, then you should definitely apply.
Yeah, and something I've noticed is I think our personal traits on each job entry are pretty great in terms of like they're very truly catered to each role, and so you get a feel for what it's like working with that team or with that partner, and like if you go through them even just like right now. They really are different from role to role, and that's great because just certain folks, certain personality traits, just work better with different teams and different companies, and so I think we do a good job like highlighting those.
Yeah, and something that I also think it's worth mentioning, like what is like a mismatch to a growth gap, right? So I would say a mismatch is when the role, like the description, is just outside of like your overall experience. So, for example, a different tech stack or a seniority level that requires years of experience, for example, in leadership, you don't have yet. So, it's just like being. It's not like a failure or anything like that. It's just like honesty, right? To understand that, and a growth gap, I think, is different because that's when you have the foundation, and you'd be stretching in the right direction, right? So I think we can spot that difference, and yeah, and I think the question regarding like should I apply or not? Again, I would say apply, like seriously, because if you match the core requirements, you shouldn't let those nice to haves like stop you. But the question would say to ask yourself, like, if I'm missing like a central, if what I'm missing is central to the actual job, or is it just something that I could pick it up, relatively quickly? So if it's the latter, then probably not the best time yet.
Yeah.
All right. Just a quick shout out. So we have people watching on Instagram too. Amazing. If you want to have an even better experience, make sure to join us on YouTube so you can ask the questions and we can actually read what you're saying. But very welcome to say on Instagram, of course. Now, something that was asked, and I think the last two questions, they're about seniority, right? What typical seniority is required, and if we have openings that are transitioning from like mid-level to senior. And I think this kind of starts with the general question, what is a senior, I guess. So how do we evaluate that, and who do we usually look for in those terms?
Yeah, so I think what we evaluate, it's even beyond, the technical skills in the whole process, because we're actually also, seeing if this person can thrive in a remote, high trust, global environment, right? So I think the first thing is, if the person, can show ownership. So if you see what needs to happen and you move, you do it. It also means communication. So not the perfect grammar, let's say, but like you have clarity and you're consistent, with English and communication skills, and also adaptability. So because the partners, they also work across different cultures, time zones, working styles. So I think that the best people are definitely the ones that are like genuinely like curious about it. They think this is exciting. And yeah, did I answer the question? I think that's kind of like the soft skills that we look for, and they definitely make up for the senior engineer. And I would say regarding the overall open positions, if you go through the job website, the job board, you can see that most of them are for senior engineers. Yes. But not all, so it depends. That's why when I talk to candidates and they ask, like, how can I be up to date about the open roles and the opportunities? So I would say two main things, because again, every single day we are updating, and just like all of the information there, it is our source of truth. So if the role is there, it's definitely open. And the ones that you can see when you open the page, the first ones are like the fresh, so they're like new roles. So you can definitely check it out there. And also Xteam posts open opportunities, the recruiters too, and on LinkedIn. So that's another way to keep updated and understand the open roles.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, it works pretty much like the industry does in general, I would say, in that we say there's a seniority here and there's X amount of years, but that's kind of a guideline, or just like to help to help folks understand. And like, if you have 3 years under your belt, but you just have a huge portfolio and a ton of experience that you've been working on professionally and on the side, like you can stand out in a different way. And at the same time, that someone could have been an engineer for 15 years and it's just not the right role, right? Like I would say we work in the similar way as the industry as a whole, in terms of that kind of guidance on our job listings.
Precisely. I think that's a very common question, and as we're seeing here, that there's the tenure topic is very prominent, right? And as you said, like we've had both cases. The amount of time doesn't necessarily say how proficient you are. We've had a back in the day, we had an instance where an ex-teamer joined them, a senior ex-teamer, and they were so young that they needed a letter of approval from their parents. So they were under the age of 18, and they were already senior because they had worked so much time on all of these things, and they could do it. So it's not a matter of, oh yes, there's 5 years on the paper. It's not like there's not a clear formula for what it is exactly. It depends.
That's right.
So I think that the general tip would be, if you're interested, apply. And if you get, if you don't make it through the first time, that's okay. Then try again. You'll learn with it. That's the whole point, right? That's something that we don't do really. That is like excluding you if you try it once and that's it. No, I think that life is about growth and learning. That's what we believe. And trying again and coming back better and learning from the first one. That's something really normal. So don't be scared of applying again. That's something that we want to encourage people to do.
In fact,
Yeah,
so we
and
had, and I don't want to get us off track here, but we did have a comment, and I actually can't read it because my screen is not rendering the text properly. But someone was asking about the best way. I believe they said they applied and maybe didn't get through, and they were asking the best way to kind of stay on X Team's radar. And I thought that was a
Yeah,
great question.
great question.
And again, sorry I can't highlight it, but I thought maybe we could talk about that. Like Danny, is there there's a few tips you have about kind of staying on X Team's radar? Because you're absolutely right, Mario. We don't, you can apply and maybe you don't get in the first time. That's obviously not an automatic future rejection. Like we want to stay in contact and build that relationship, and hopefully it works out. So I am curious about some tips you have, Danny.
yeah, so something that we always encourage is, let's say you don't pass the technical challenge that we have, right? Like a assessment. You should absolutely apply again and try again, doing the test, because that's exactly what Mario said. Like, you really believe in, like, if you feel like this is a place that you would thrive, that you want to work with, you identify with the culture, we also want you here, so yeah, you should apply again. And something that us here, the recruitment team, we always encourage candidates to reach out, share your interests. And if you want to give some context, saying, for example, that, oh, I talked to you guys a few months back about, I don't know, that opportunity, I would be really interested in trying it again. So that's like, it's perfect. And when you apply, our ATS, which is like our system here, like also gets all of the information. So we have all of the history there too, with your updated CV and how the other conversations went. So we get the context, but we really encourage and we really appreciate when candidates, they reach out again and they express that they're interested in trying out. So yeah.
Awesome. Good to know.
And of course, the Discord, guys.
That's right.
We're reviving, bringing it back to life. The Discord with you, we see you there, engaging, asking. You'll have a closer touch and with the recruiters. And yeah, we've seen people in the past who were very active on the things in Discord that eventually, after time, became X-teamers. And I think that contact really makes a difference. And seeing that you guys are active and interested in working on things and sharing what you're working on, very valuable. So yeah, one way to keep in touch with us, definitely Discord. We have a few more questions. This one is easy and short to answer while I read the other ones. Who are our biggest clients? We have a bunch of them, but maybe then you can tell or name a few.
We have so many. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of roles right now with Riot Games. I know that we have like a big community that loves your games here. So Riot, Fox, Coinbase. Oh my God, who else? Help us. People in the chat, X-teamers. We have Stored. We have, we have partners, I would say, in all sorts of industries that you guys can imagine. And our partners are also global, so we go from like startups to mid-sized companies and, to the really big ones, from all sorts of industries that you guys can imagine. So we always tend to share, like, first we share like the like a briefing of like what is the opportunity, and then when we are talking more like in depth about the role and we say that this is like a good match, we share all of the context, the partner, the team, the opportunities there. So yeah,
very cool.
So yeah, Fox, Coinbase, Epic Games, Riot Games,
Epic
Sotheby's.
Games.
Yep.
Beachbody, I don't know, it's a long list. But some of the biggest brands out there. There's another question about overlap with PST. So when the role or the description mentions that needs an overlap of 6 hours with PST, what does it mean? What time is it considering?
Yeah, it usually means like starting the day align with like PST. So let's say if it's 9 a.m. PST and we're talking about like folks in Brazil, I think that means 12 p.m. I'm not entirely sure. So usually we also mention this when we are sharing, what is the role, so if we say like x amount of hours of overlap with a certain time zone, we say like if they need to have, for example, start of the day, because some partners, they even have dailies, some don't, so it depends. But usually that what it means, and that's why also a few location preferences, because that way we know that it's not going to be too early or too late for the ex-teamers too.
Maybe more fundamentally, just to make sure that everyone's, because not everyone is aware of like the time zone nomenclature when they're not working remotely or with other time timelines. So when it says PST, it means Pacific Standard Time, which is usually the East Coast of the United States. So it's probably, as Danny said, like if you start your day, they probably want to have you from 6 hours, so from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Eastern time, so that you have enough time to actually join the meetings. UTC would be the Coordinated Universal Time Zone, which is like UK, basically. And all of us are in different time zones right now, so that's how we kind of make sure that we have the overlaps. A 6-hour overlap with PST would mean that the working hours with PST you should be available at some point with them. So that's basically it. I hope that answers the question. I wanna go quickly to another topic, which is there's a lot of information, a lot of things that people think about when applying. Danny, in your experience, is there anything that people tend to overthink when applying? Something that they put too much effort into that they might be spending on something else?
Yeah, I think so. And for example, I would say how you structure your CV, right? So for example, this is like, it can be like a more simple tip, but usually if you have your LinkedIn or CV easy to read in, let's say, less than 60 seconds, that's ideal, So so the most, the first, the fresher experience in the top, and usually too, for example, share not only what you did but the impact of your work, right? So not putting the CV, for example, worked on a backend service. So try to add like a number of impact, because we really want to hear this the contribution that you have made in the project. So I think it's like kind of like read the CV as a README file, for yourself. So you're writing it to the person who is going to be reading it, not lived it. I didn't live the experience, So what can you tell me there that's going to say like, yes, I want to have a conversation with you, And also something like keep the LinkedIn, I would say, consistent with the CV, like the same information there, one for the other. And I would say also, if you have worked remotely before, try to make that visible there. Did you collaborate with distributed teams? And what else can I think here about also like practical tips,
Because I think it's important to know also like how many applications we kind of get, because the people are saying, oh, how can I send up, what makes it that like a resume doesn't go into the short list. So I think that having a general idea of the dimensions that come towards X team would be helpful to understand why these tips are important.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, so just mentioning the number here, I talked to Daniel Kano today, and we had 12,000 applications since January. And I knew it, like the number would be a lot, but I was surprised. So I was also happy to know that. So yeah, and I would say like the first thing is the reason that I mentioned, for example, check the title of the job description and see if there are like any location preferences, because a lot of people, they apply because they don't pay attention to those things, right? And once you are already in the process, I would say another tip here is like over engineering the tech assessment, because we're not looking for, the most complex solution. I would say we want to see, your process, your thinking. So like something clean, readable, maintainable. So the more complicated, like not necessarily is the more impressive, right?
Yeah.
And once you are in the process already, like talking with us, the first part of the whole process is the conversation with the recruitment team. And some may say this is the best part of the process. I don't know. That's just what I've heard.
That's
I
what
don't know.
they say.
It's what I've heard. And so I would say like not doing any kind of research before the interview is like definitely, an avoidable mistake that you can do, because like knowing what we do, knowing who our partners are, and having, one even or two questions ready. I think that's definitely something that changes the whole dynamic of the conversation.
Yeah,
That makes
agree.
sense. Yeah.
Kip, we have an interesting question here that I think you'd be very suited to answer, but I also want Danny's input into this. So there's a question here saying, are professionals who contribute to open source communities and write articles well regarded by X Team?
So I personally would say yes, absolutely. Again, I started in recruiting and I'm no longer in recruiting. However, I can tell you personal experience from when I was in that realm. That was a huge indicator. Seeing folks that had an active GitHub, that had contributions to open source, that had, you could see that they were forking and building and creating. And then certainly, when I would see a developer that would write just an awesome, whether it's a post-mortem or just a product write-up on their personal blog or their LinkedIn, something like that, about a technical project they did, that always caught my eye personally. Danny just said how many applicants we get. Anything, I think, in my personal opinion, anything you can do to stand out and show your skills. And so if you go the extra length to write a blog post about, like, I made this, I made this to-do list app on a weekend. It doesn't have to be the most impressive thing in the world. And you explain it and talk about it and you're passionate about it, like, that comes through. And that's, I'll tell you, we're talking about seniority there, like, that's the kind of thing that would give me that confidence of someone, if someone was only, 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever, of pure experience, but they had things like that under their belt. They had things like that in their portfolio. That was always really impressive if I was on the fence of them, like being the right seniority fit. Seeing that above and beyond, efforts, always caught my eye and meant something to me. Again, that's me personally, though.
Couldn't agree more.
True.
Yeah, and I also think there is, the knowledge sharing part too, and I think that's really great. When not only like how to do it, but you want to share this with other people, and you want to also teach them. That's really valuable.
1,000%. And I'll say, I'm seeing in the comments there, I think it's from Erica, about not being afraid to talk about your passions. Agree 1,000%. And in fact, I think that doesn't even have to be your technical passions. Like, I think it's good to have a conversation with someone you're talking about your love of tea, and you talk about how much tea you drink and things like that. And part of working with someone is not just their portfolio, but it's the communication between them. It's you want to work with them, right? You want to be a part of that team together. And so agree 100% with that comment. Just be yourself and talk about what motivates you, what you're passionate about. I think that's always going to be the right call.
That great point, Caleb. By the way, we have this might be not super relevant for those watching who are not X-Teamers. However, we have something called houses in X-Team. These are like sub communities, very much like the Harry Potter thing, where we get people together to compete for stuff and events. and some of them are watching right now because we have the secret password that they've been waiting for that we dropped, because then they can get coins. What are coins? Digital currency that they can use on our vault to get t-shirts or clothing like this, and ducks and and flasks and bottles and all kinds of sorts of things that we have. So we're dropping the password now so that you guys can go to XCU, which is our community platform, put it in there and get some coins and house points too today. So the password is Momentum Formula. Momentum Formula, everything together. And yes, caps matter. So M is capital, and also the F, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, make some noise for your house in the chat. That's always very appreciated. Guys, we're getting closer to the end. I know we've discussed a lot of topics. Well, okay then, but only once, okay?
Go Techian.
Go Techian, yeah. So we're getting closer to the end of the conversation. Again, a lot of topics have been discussed. If there's any particular topic that you guys would like us to discuss in more detail, be it CVs or how to prepare for an interview, anything like that, let us know. Best way to do it, this Discord. We'll be asking every time before the shows, hey, what do you want to know about? How can we help you make this process better for you and improve your chances? Come to Discord, tell us, and we'll give our best to answer them soon and at the latest in the next episode, right? So just to kind of recap a little bit, if someone watching only remembers one thing from this conversation today, what should that be, Dani?
Okay, so I think people spend so much energy of like how to present themselves, and they forget that we're just actually looking for the real version of you, So a clear CV, honest answers, have proactive, communication, and be generally like curious about the role. I would say that's it. And that's generally like what gets people in. And stop worrying if your English isn't perfect. Also, like if you're not ticking every single box of the job description. But I would say pay a little bit of attention, how you can clearly talk about what you have built, where you want to go. So I think that's definitely a conversation that we want to have. And last but not least, go to xteam.com and look at the open roles that we have, and find the one that you think makes sense for you, where you are right now. Apply. You can reach out to us, on LinkedIn. And yeah, so and if you're not sure yet, because it can happen, just stay around. I think you can continue coming to events like this. You can follow the community. And yeah, I think because the best ex-teamers, they're like the people that want to be here. So that's it.
True.
Really agree. Awesome.
Thank you. Caleb, what would you give them on the way as the single most important thing to remember from this conversation?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly agree with Danny. Like doing the research on X Team or as much of the role as you can, and coming to that is really important. But yeah, like not being afraid. Like you might not get in the first time, right? Like like not being afraid to stay in contact with us, to keep applying, to keep looking at roles, and like I think that's part of it. Like someone will get one. A role doesn't go through, and you can only hire one engineer for one role, right? And like it just doesn't happen that time. Staying in touch, continuing to tune into things like this, and being part of the community, and just stay on it, stay in touch with the folks that you have talked to at X Team. I think it is the way to go. Is to be kind of persistent there.
Beautiful words. By the way, Caleb, now that
Yes.
we're at the end here, and I like playing games and doing stuff, I was thinking of how about we give away some cool merch that we have today. Let's take a look at what we can get on here today.
I think that's a great idea.
We could play a short little game 5 rounds of a game that I'll explain in a second. These are the things you're playing for today. Either an X Team Dev t-shirt, a tumbler for your eye strings, or a beautiful X Team cap. So let's play a little game about pictures. It's very simple. Very, very simple.
Okay.
I'll share my screen, and then we'll take a look at a picture. And we just have to guess which year this picture was taken. Simple. Super simple, right? The way to play here is also very simple. To just answer like so. Are you seeing that in the chat? A red square with your final answer, right? Red square, and then the year you think that picture was taken, and that's it. And then whoever gets closest, the most gets a point, and whoever has most points after 5 pictures gets the giveaway. How does that sound, guys? Do you think?
Sounds great to me.
Sounds great to me too.
All
right. So let's play this one. I'll ask the production. Are you gonna show the screen, or should I? Right. So let's check out this. I hope the chat is ready, because this is gonna be quick, right? There's gonna be a few minutes to just guess which year the picture was taken in, and first come, first serve. So whoever said it first, if there's 2 answers that are the same, gets it, of course. So let's do this. Oh my god, here we go.
There we go.
The first one is this picture from Waffle House, and we need to guess when this picture was taken, right? 1975, 1910. Okay. We'll give it a couple more. 1935. Let's take a look. Let me try to zoom in a little bit so we can really see the details of the hairstyle and the kitchen. Waffle House, of course. This is a chain right in the States, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure is.
Have you ever been to one, Caleb?
I have, only once or twice though. But yeah.
And how does it compare to IHOP?
I mean, I truly think that they're both pretty great. I really do. I think they make solid breakfast food. I'd probably rather go to a Waffle House than an IHOP, to be honest with you.
All right, so we have let's have a cut. We'll cut out the answers in 3, 2. So if you haven't answered, do it now. If I guess 3, 2, 1. This is the count out. We have different answers. Let's see, Danny. When do you think this was taken?
Oh, I would say 1969.
1969.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check if this is correct. It was in 1965. So that's pretty close.
Close.
We have a winner.
Do we have an at 65?
We do. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We do. David. So David gets 1 point. David gets 1 point. Production, if you could write that down, that would be really appreciated. David is leading right now with 1 point. Let's go to the next round. It's just 5 rounds. We'll move quickly so that we don't go over time. Next round. What year was this picture taken in? Oh wow, okay. What is this? Let us zoom in a little bit. Kids with their little hats at school, I suppose. Andy Gump, Mutt. What? Do we know what this is? Like a play, or is this like the dunce cap that people used to wear when they, were naughty in class? Not sure.
I don't know what that is.
Keep up with the Joneses? I thought it said nonsense, but well. Happy? Maybe he's from, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, we'll cut out in just 10, 9, 8, 5, 2, 1. And the answers are in. We have, again, a lot of dates ranging from 1960 to 1910. So in the 1990s. Okay. So let's check out what the right answer was. Caleb, what do you think? When was this taken?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Like the 30s, 1932. I don't know. This is tough.
Okay.
I'm not so good at this.
That's all right. 1932.
maybe I'm way off. I'm probably way. I think I'm way off.
Maybe you're not. I don't know.
I think I'm way off now.
1922. Not that horrible.
Okay.
10 years off. So let's see who was the closest. 1925, 1920, 1921, 1920. Yeah, 1920. So 1920. That's William Handler. Gets 1 point. Let's go to the next one. These rounds are gonna move faster. So now the guesses are in. A.H. Crab Company. $3 hats.
$3 hat. Okay, they're linen.
A $3 hat. Wow. Linen hat. Yeah, things have really gotten much worse with time. I mean, I know inflation is a thing, but $3 hat, I wouldn't say no. So bring your guesses. Danny, I need you to think about this one.
Can I say?
Luckily, someone in the comments will win a free hat. They actually pay $0.
It's even cheaper. That's right.
It's even cheaper.
Okay, we'll cut in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Ooh, Barbara was just in. Okay, 1915. Danny, what do you think?
1917.
1917. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. It looks old. That's all I have here. So 1905. No,
Ooh.
1905. So really old. What's the 1945?
I see 11.
12. There's an 11. Yeah, 1911. David by a few. Very good. Second point for David. Well done. Let's go to two last rounds. It can decide everything. Okay, these two ladies on the beach, really different than what we have today going on.
That is actually exactly what I wear to the beach.
That is, yeah, it's true. I mean, it's the best way to go to the beach. I'm not gonna lie. Your hat and your little shoes, very nice shoes. Yes,
yeah.
a book. Yeah. Not bad. So, what year was this taken? We don't know. We'll give it more, 5 more seconds, guys. If you don't know, just guess. Just guess randomly. 3, 2, 1. There you go. That's the cut off. And Caleb, I mean, you already wear this. So, which year would have you wear this to the beach?
Yeah, I'm bad at like 1925 or something like that.
1925. Yeah, looks 20-ish.
Maybe.
Let's go with that.
I'm bad at this.
Submit. 1905 again?
5 again. Wow.
But it looks really good for that to be that old, I guess.
Oh, we have a 1905 already.
Do we have a 1905 exactly on the dot? Yes, Code Chronicles.
Do we really?
Code Chronicles gets a point. Well done. Well done. Okay, last picture. This might make it or break it. David is winning right now, but this might decide everything. If there's a tie, both people will get it. Okay, construction, minerals. Who knows?
Yes.
Trains. Is it a train? No. Am I tripping?
I can't tell what it is.
Might be a train. Construction.
Might be a train.
Rare earths. They're probably mining to get more of those Nvidia cards going. That's probably the thing. So what year was this taken? I'll give 30 more seconds so you guys can guess at home, and then we'll close the thing. Danny, I know you've worked different things in your life. Do you have any experience with this kind of labor?
I do. This is. Can I say?
You can guess.
1934.
Wow, 1934. Okay. Yes, that was a year of the. So this, I'm not sure if this was like colored in or what, because the colors are really faint. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah,
contrast.
they are.
This is not an iPhone, I'm pretty sure. Right? Okay, so we'll close the submissions in 3, 2, 1. Whoop. And let's see who 1934 you said, right?
34.
Okay, 1934. Let's check it out. It was 1911. I already see a 1911 there. Did anyone say it before? No, so that's Fernando Simoes. All right, so Fernando gets 1 point, which gives us the final result of Davi having 2 points. Production, is that correct? Yes, that's correct. All right, Davi, congratulations. Please join our Discord server to claim your prize. There's a channel called Claim Your Prize, and it just says, "Hey, I'm Davi, cool," and then I'll DM you for you to choose one of these 3 items: the T-shirt, the tumbler, or the cap. Which one would you choose, Caleb? Any tips?
I probably like the hat a lot. I like the cap a lot. The Lux mug though, or I guess you don't call it a mug, but whatever that is.
Cup?
Yeah, I guess a cup, like a thermal. It's like a thermal cup kind of thing. I like that. It was nice. Had some summer
tumbler?
vibes.
Same.
The tumbler.
Yeah,
is the
that
word I was
is
looking
nice
for.
with some ice and the sound that it makes.
Yep. Yep.
All right, awesome guys. Well, I gotta thank you, Danny, for joining us today and sharing all of these great tips with the community. Caleb, of course, always great having you. You guys who showed up and asked your questions and participated today. Thank you so much for being here. If you have questions, please join our Discord. Let us know what you want to know, and we'll answer. And also, we can prepare some of those topics if they're recurring to present them next time. Because in a month, there's going to be yet another XTV. This is a monthly thing, guys. This is a monthly thing. Thank you so much, and
Awesome.
we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Take
Bye.
care.
Love to see the comments. That was cool. Thank you.